I'm Brent Lemons, Brentlemons, just like the sour kind.
Okay.
I come from a long line of family with bad hearts, and my heart on schedule, just like my dad's, at 46 years old, it decided to blow. And, I dealt with it pretty well for several years, but then things started going south about 3 years ago, severely. It was a very bad heart attack. They told me I lost nearly, or right at a third of my heart was dead after the heart attack. But I was able to keep going, so I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. And I thought, well, that wouldn't be too bad, but as it progressed, of course, I just wasn't able to do much. It was okay at first, and then it just started dominoing, and it got worse and worse. About 7 years, I lived pretty well after the first heart attack. It was manageable, but about 3 years ago, my heart failure became so severe that I would have, I guess what you'd call, episodes where I would just fall apart, and I'd end up in the intensive care unit. And then I had to have stents after stents after stents. I had 9 stents in all after my heart attack. And so they were trying to plug up all the holes in the dike, but it didn't seem to be working. And then the last 3 years, it was kind of like falling off a cliff. Everything became laborious, almost impossible, because I just didn't feel like it. Well, I was going to big city doctors in the past, and after the last stent, they just told me, they said, well, that's pretty much all we can do. There's nothing else we can do, so we're just going to try to manage it with medicine. But I knew that wasn't right. I had to do something differently. So I went to Dr. Jones, found out we had a great cardiologist in Plainview, and the minute I walked in the door, he said, we're going to change everything. And he did. Well, after Dr. Jones initially examined me, he said, well, he goes, you only have about a third of your heart left, and we're going to change the medicine. And he said, I think you're going to need a new heart. And so he started me on the pathway to get a transplant. When Dr. Jones told me that I needed a new heart, of course, all the questions came up on how in the world would that happen. He literally took it by the hand and said, I'm sending you to Dallas to doctors that I know. And I would go back and forth to Dallas, and the Dallas doctor said, Dr. Jones is doing everything exactly right. And so that made me feel very comfortable. And of course, getting a transplant's a long process. And when Dr. Jones got through with all of his treatment, the Dallas folks said, well, you're ready. And after I got put on the list, it was only 21 days and I had my new heart. When you get a new heart, when you wake up from surgery, the first thing you do is you take a big breath. And it's just like a miracle, because you had forgotten what taking a deep breath was about, because congestive heart failure restricts your breathing enormously, and you compensate constantly, so you don't even know it's happening. But after the transplant, you wake up with a new strong heart, and you take a big breath, and life is very good pretty quick. Now, there's a few days of really severe getting over the surgery, but after that, I feel like I'm 29 again. I don't look it, but I feel like it. Dr. Jones immediately addressed the problems that I already knew were there, and didn't try to cover it up by saying, well, we'll treat it. He said, we need to get something going. And I could tell that he was earnest and sincere in his statements. And then very shortly I realized that he had a plan of action, and it wasn't sitting back and waiting for me to have a next heart attack. I was born in Plainview, and my entire growing up years I had the best doctors, some of the famous Plainview doctors that took care of me, and all of my family. And when I came back to Plainview, I was a little hesitant, because I had been to all these big city doctors. And what I was so happy to find is that we have terrific doctors, and Dr. Jones is on the top of the heap of any heart doctor I've ever used, ever. I was treated in ICU here in Plainview, and I was so pleased because the level of care there was superb. The nurses were terrific. I have no complaints about the treatment I got here. the people are terrific here. Life is great. I go 90-0 all the time, and I do what I want. And I just finished my year of having a new heart, and I could not ask for better results. And Dr. Jones still takes care of me. I do anything I want. What else can I say? I do anything I want with no restrictions. I have no restrictions whatsoever. I don't think that there is a day that goes by that I don't have the chance to tell someone with heart trouble to stop what they're doing and go see Dr. Kevin Jones. And you can ask all my friends. They know I do that every day. It has changed several people's lives since my experience with Dr. Jones. So I can say it with confidence. Go see him.